Now, there are a few stances that you can have. That's what we call an open stance. Some target archers, quite a lot of them actually, will use an open stance. That's quite good. I don't like shooting that way because it just feels, it always makes me feel like my shoulders aren't in line. For me, I shoot with a backward open stance, a bit like Hazel's got you doing. This leg comes backwards, okay? So I open that stance right up. This knee, I'm going to relax that knee, just like Hazel's got this guy doing. I'm going to relax the knee and put a bit more weight on that forward knee. Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret. Despite what all the target archers are going to be going, that bloke's wrong, how dare he say that? It doesn't actually matter too much where your feet are in relation to a shot. What's important, I mean, with target archery, to a certain point it does, because you're after repeatability in every shot. And you're not moving from that position, so why would you want to keep changing your feet position? You wouldn't, okay? But when you're in the woods, what you're really ultimately after when you're shooting uphill and downhill and all this, stuff you're trying to do, keep your weight centered over your hips is what you're trying to do. In other words, don't be off balance. If I was up in the woods and I was out hunting a rabbit and he was over there in the corner, and by the way, anyone that sees this, we all know bow hunting's illegal in UK. Hypothetically saying, talking, there's a bumblebee chasing you, actually there is. Right, there's a rabbit over there, and I'm a target archer. I've got this nice close stance, and I can just look beyond that hedge and I can see that little bunny rabbit over there, and I'm going to have him for me pot, okay? Now I'm leaning forward slightly, I'm drawing my bow up, and you can see I'm on I'm off balance here. You give me a little push and I'm sort of going to be like this, okay? A close stance is not really ideal. What you'd want to do probably is open that stance up a little bit. It allows you to transfer weight on your back leg or on your front leg. If I want to put a bit more weight on that forward leg and shoot round that bush, I could go that side of it. If I decide I want to shoot this side, I can sort of come back here and maybe shoot that side of it. But you can see I'm not going anywhere, I'm well planted to the floor. When you were shooting, occasionally I was saying lean into the shot and you was bringing your heels up. You mustn't bring your heels up, keep your feet flat on the... You must never be in a situation where I can come along and give you a little push and basically you're off balance. You're going to fall forward or fall backward. Like these guys who do martial arts, you see, they don't start a fight, as they start sparring with their feet closed. What they tend to do is open the stance up and then they bend their knees, and the reason for it is because they're well grounded. They're not going to go anywhere. And that's what I'm really trying to say to you. Keep yourself well grounded. Okay, so you might want to open the stance up a little bit, take the lock out that forward knee. Now, the reason for taking the lock out the forward knee is simply this. For bow hunting, okay, it's possible you're going to change target very quickly. And also, you might want to be shooting at a moving target. Now, if Dad's doing target archery and he's in this position, nice straight hips, okay, nice straight knees there, he draws up, okay, there's a rabbit over there, Dad draws up on that rabbit, and then out the corner of his eye, he sees another one pop out. He's got two options now. Twist through your spine, you don't want to be doing that. Or what he could do obviously is come off draw, reposition himself, get himself squared up to the target and start the whole drawing process. Well, trust me guys, animals don't hang around to be shot, and you really don't want to be wasting time coming off draw, coming back on draw, stuff like that. If you're opening the stance up, this is a much more aggressive way of shooting, you're putting a bit of weight on that forward leg. What it will allow you to do now is twist through your hips and through your knee, okay, without having to twist through your spine. So if there's a rabbit over there, I can very quickly draw up on that one, okay, and then very quickly, if I want, change to that one. And I'm not actually bending my spine, I'm just pivoting through my knees and my hips. You see what I'm saying? Keeping your spine reasonably straight, okay? So that's another reason why you might want to open the stance up and just put a bit of weight on that forward leg. Another reason for putting a bit of weight on that forward leg is bringing your shoulders slightly forward into the shot that Hayes has been trying to get this guy to do. With this bow, the bend or the arc of the string is very wide, okay? And what you might find is you even might open the stance up, but just watch me very closely. If I draw this bow up now, okay, you can see the string is on my chest. It's on here, and you don't want that. You don't want, the only 2 points of contact you should have is your fingers, your anchor point, fingers on string, and your hand in the bow. And even then, as I said, you haven't got a death grip going on here, you're just holding that bow gently. But you want complete string clearance, so at the time of releasing, the string can go forward. It's not going to catch things like that, can really mess up a shot if the string catches stuff like this. So, what we're getting you to do is open that stance up. You're just adjusting your style of shooting for the environment you're in, and more importantly, the bow that you're using. Now, what I'm getting you to do here is you're going to draw up, come to that anchor point, see the strings on my chest, just lean slightly into the shot there. You're still keeping that back tension, but I'm leaning into the shot, and you can see that string comes away from my chest. String clearance is what I'm trying to get there. Make sure you're going to release, get a nice string going forward without catching clothing or jewellery or anything else you might be wearing. So you can see, the style of shooting is very different. Now, another thing that I'm going to get you guys to do, because you might really like this, I've been getting you to do a straight draw, where you're holding your bow up, okay, fingers on string, and then you're just drawing back, remember to bring your hips and shoulders coming round. Now if you want to shoot that way, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, it's your style of shooting. However, there are 3 ways of drawing a bow. There's only 2 safe ways of drawing a bow, okay? In the old days, you don't often see it now, but the GNAS used to allow people, to come up here and basically start the drawing process and come down onto their target. They do not allow that anymore, as far as I'm aware, and the NFAS never had. It's dangerous. Don't ever do high draws, because simply as you're drawing down, if it slips, the arrow could be away, and if it's in the woods, it could bounce off a tree and someone could get injured. You can do a straight draw, which is what you've been doing. Hold the bow in front of you like so, okay, hips and shoulders, draw back, very safe way. If things go wrong, the arrow's going in a safe direction, obviously. The best way, I think, certainly if you was going to go bow hunting, you wouldn't walk around the woods all day long, sort of holding the bow like this, because 1, you'd look an idiot, and 2, you'd probably get tired. You'd probably have your bow loaded up, you'd be walking along, stalking the ground, all of a sudden you see your target and you're just going to freeze. You're already going to go straight to that more aggressive bow hunting style of shooting. The best way of drawing, I think, is what we call a low draw, and that's from the ground up. So all you're doing here is put a bit more weight in that forward leg, look at your target, you're simply just pushing the bow away, keep everything nice and straight through your arm, push, pull, okay? Come up into your anchor point, 1, 2, release, follow through. Another thing you can see I'm doing, instead of shooting the bow vertically, I'm canting the bow over. Now this is called canting a bow. A lot of bow hunters will do this. Why is it important? Well, firstly, this is a flat bow, and there's only a very small ledge here, and what you would find, depending on how you're aiming, at certain distances, when you run the shot, this limb can start to blot out some of the target. So what a lot of American guys do is they'll cant the bow over to get the limb out of the way so they can see more of the target. The other reason for canting the bow is we've already discussed with the target archers, they'll tend to have their hand in that 45-degree angle with their elbow going out to one side there. Now, they don't do that for fun. The old target archers know what they're doing now. The reason for it is if your hand has got that very high risk grip and it's in that position, there is a lot of evidence to support the fact that you have got bone-on-bone support running through your arm. When you're holding a bow like this, it's just muscle, okay? Muscle can get tired, fatigued, eventually it can start wobbling and shaking. When your hand's in that position, not only are you pushing with muscle, but you're actually using your skeleton. So there's a lot of reasons for having the hand in that position. Well, what the Americans simply do, guys, me included, what we're simply doing here is canting the bow over. 1, it's getting the limb out of the way, and at the same time, you can see, obviously, my hand's coming over with it. So it's giving me a bit more support through my bow arm as well. So you're sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. You're getting the limb out of the way, and also, you're introducing a bit of cant and bringing your hand over, so it gives you a slightly more supportive shot. Okay? So you can see it's very different. A target archer, let's just get a target bow. And as I said to you guys in the shot here, what we're talking about here is archery in general. A target archer, and Andrew's possible, if he carries on with his target archery, will be very different to what I'm doing, okay? But basically, if you have an Olympic gold medalist here, an American bow hunter over here, and actually analyse what they're doing, I'm telling you now, they're both doing exactly the same thing. They will both have their weight centred. They will both have a solid, crisp anchor point that they pull to. The target archer's on here, bow hunters up there. They'll both maintain back tension. Their shoulders will be good. The release will be clean and the follow through will be good. And that's basically the rules that come into making a shot. How it comes together for a target archer is slightly different for the bow hunter, but they're doing the same thing. The target archer's up here, underneath the chin, he's down, opposite a set of sights, and he's doing this sort of stuff, okay? Whereas the bow hunter, much more aggressive, in goes with the knee, canting the bow, and he's looking more like that. But basically, they're doing the same thing. As I said, guys, for you and your style of shooting, play around with your technique, find out what works, but always remember the key things: back tension, shoulder alignment, release, follow through. How that comes together for you as an individual, to a certain point, it's very much an individual thing. We've got a guy that comes up here, funny enough, I've not heard from him for a while, he's on the front page, Steve Yates, I think you may have heard. Steve Yates is one of the best bowmen I know. He shoots the horse bows, he's a real fan of them. And if you watch his technique, I couldn't shoot like Steve. You know, it's a bit wild. You know, if you watch Steve shoot, he has the old horse bows and he stands like that and he'll shoot almost like this. But I tell you, he won't miss. He's really good. You know, as I said, I wouldn't shoot like it, but it's what works for him. But, you know, it's not for me to be saying, Steve, oh, you need to change things, you're doing things wrong. Clearly, he's not. You know, Steve, most times, look at that ball boy down there, so he really knows what he's doing with a bow, but his technique's quite wild. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to let you have a little bit of a play with these American flat bows. Now,